Hi, I'm Tanya Pripyatnevich, tarot muse and teacher, author of Heart's Compass Tarot. Discover tarot journaling and create your own cards, published by Two Fine Crows Books. Here with me today is Donna Agins, and she has a few questions about the class I'm teaching that is both for the tarot curious and the tarot savvy this coming Saturday in person from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. at San Diego Writers Inc. And the class is pre-Mother's Day Tarot Writing and Art Workshop. Make your card early. Thank you so much, Donna, for being here with me today.
Hi, Tanya. I'm wondering, who is this class for?
Great question. Thank you, Donna. So I'm keeping the invitation to join this class very open. You might come to explore your relationship to your mother, living or maybe since no longer with us, or to explore the ways you mother your own children or furries. I know there's a lot of pet moms out there. So first off, everyone is welcome, and blood family as well as chosen family or adoptive family, all those relationships are welcome.
Why use the tarot to make a Mother's Day card?
Yeah, good question again. So the tarot has beautiful illustrations of archetypal energies on them, and some of them represent mother energy. So as we know, motherhood and relationships to moms can be really wonderful, but also really fraught, often at the same time. So every single year, there's all this Hallmark type pressure and hype to celebrate. So I wanted to offer a class where we could look at the relationship to the mother in totality and somehow arrive at a genuine way to celebrate ourselves and our moms. So, how we connect to mom is so deeply personal. And then the tarot card gives us kind of a distraction in a good way. It's like a universal image we can use as a way into the card. We can notice what we're attracted to on the card. So, using art can sometimes bypass our immediate rational mind. And maybe we can drop in and listen a little more closely to the story in the card and how it might connect to our experiences or those even that we wish we had. So, Donna, can you see this card?
Yes, I can. It's quite beautiful.
Thank you. This is from the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, and it's an image of the Empress. And so here she is, larger than life, seated outside in nature, one foot in a sort of in a stream to show her emotional connection to the heart. And then she's out in nature to show her connection to the rhythms of life itself. She's also wearing a crown of stars. It's maybe hard to tell, but I think of that as her connection to the sky and the stars and the sky wisdom. So we will look at that. What in this image reminds you about any aspect of your mother? And again, relationships are deep and complicated. So maybe you'll be writing about what you would have liked. So, Donna, you actually asked, why are we using the tarot to create a Mother's Day
Right.
card? And I'm thinking that when we're little, we use crayons and we bring home these awkward things that are supposed to be cups that mom's supposed to drink out of. And mom loves it because we made it with our hands. So the same is true as we grow older for moms, that maybe we could still make a crayon drawing, but in this class, what I'm going to do is invite us to do some writing, and maybe you'll end up drafting a letter to her about a special memory of a time you connected. Maybe you'll turn it into a poem so that the class really gives you a chance to let down and indulge in some messy behind the scenes thinking. Which story do I want to tell about mom? You get to admit your own complexities of relationship, but look for a connecting point you can share with mom. So, and if mom is no longer here, maybe just writing a letter to her. Maybe if she's not alive anymore, you could read this letter to her the morning of Mother's Day just to celebrate that ongoing connection in some way. If you believe that love never dies and can still be transmitted, and I do, don't you, Donna?
Yep.
And or maybe you'll end up keeping that in the family archives as a legacy for your children and grandchildren to read, to know how much love you shared with your mom. So then in the tarot deck, going back to that, there's another card that we think about in connection to the mother, and it's the moon.
That's beautiful as well.
There's, a face inside the moon and a little sliver and the moon itself for all the different phases of the moon. And then what's maybe harder to see is that there's water again, just like in that Empress River. Here it's the waters of the unconscious, and there's some things coming up out of there. So this card connects to memory and mystery and the unconscious. So this can take a deep look at the emotional part, like our veiled, maybe what we don't always think of immediately, but is waiting for us to discover. So I will have us write to this card as well. And then we'll look at these four other cards in the tarot deck if we have time, because we're going to
Oh,
spend an
wow.
hour writing and
Uh-huh.
spend an hour making art. But there's
That's
four.
exciting.
I hope it's a good amount of cards. So these are the gifts in the tarot deck, and we'll look at how did mom teach us to love through our hearts, the Ace of Cups. How did mom teach us to be passionate in the world and make our dreams blossom like that staff? How did mom teach us to use our mind, that crowning gift of our clarity and intentions? And then also, this is very practical, but how did mom teach us to connect to resources or use our hands to make things, even our bodies? And yeah, our hands as writers and artists. So, how's that, Donna? That's kind of how we'll use the
I
tarot.
understand that, using the tarot and all of that, but what can I expect when I'm in the class?
Perfect. I'm glad you asked. So, like I said, the first class will be devoted to sort of meeting these cards in the tarot and thinking about how they connect to our moms. So we'll have some nice writing. We'll write and we'll share if you feel like sharing. There's no pressure to share, but that's the invitation. So, and at the halfway mark, because it's a 2 hour class, we're going to switch to studio time and I'm going to bring a blank card and envelope for every student. And I will also bring glue and colored pencils and scissors. And what I'm asking you to do is bring photos of yourself and your mother or other imagery you feel expresses your connection to your mother and any other art materials that you wish to bring. So you'll come away from our class with a deeper understanding of a relationship to your mom and either a finished or the beginnings of at least a great Mother's Day card. And I'll also send you home because I'm a teacher at heart with a PDF that gives you a chance to do additional exercises at home, and it'll have the steps we took in class together.
Sounds good. Is there anything I can do to prepare for the class?
Yes, so let me just be a little more specific. Thank you, Donna.
Okay, thank
You'll need,
you.
yeah, you'll need to bring a notebook or a pencil and paper for the writing portion of our class. And please feel free if you are someone who uses the tarot to bring your favorite deck, but I will provide multiple versions of the ones that we looked at, the Empress and the Moon and the Four Aces, so you can write to those in class. Then it would be really helpful if you can bring any photos or other images from magazines or newspapers or maybe old greeting cards. But most of all, please bring any photos or other images of you and mom and what she loves. And then, Donna, as you know, you have to be willing to cut and paste on your own card. So, with those photos and special things you bring, and then bring any additional art supplies you prefer. So, I'll have the glue and scissors and colored pencils provided.
It all
And
sounds wonderful and will be a wonderful gift, a heartfelt gift, the card to anyone's mother. A
I
real gift of
certainly, yeah,
love.
I certainly hope it will be a gift of love. And ultimately, some participants may be a mom themselves. And I know there's periods of time when we may not get a card or a gift from our children. And it can be an opportunity to make a card where you honor yourself and how much mothering you do or give. So, again, so many ways to play.
Sounds wonderful, Tanya. I'll be there.
Oh, thank you, Donna. I'll see you there. Tarot blessings.